He happens to make this announcement right before free agency, which starts on Monday, March 14th. That's no coincidence. He wants people to know that he's here to so. Yo, this is Tribe with Yo Tribe Sports Bag. I'm back at it with you again today, and as you can see, it's a special edition. That special edition, as you may know, Tom Brady is back. But before we get to Tom Brady, let's talk about this subscription you're supposed to take care of. This YouTube algorithm we're supposed to be battling. Let's handle that right now. So I'll give you a second. Boom, shorter than a second. I hope you got it done. Hit the subscribe button. Give us the thumbs up. Also hit the alarm bell so that you can get every drop that I put out there every time I drop it. Also, you already know if you've been here before, I'm trying to get to my first 1,000 subscribers. Why is that? I want a large sporting community, all people of like mind coming to this channel, being able to go in the grab bag of sports and pick out what they like, so everyone would be happy. I like making the content. You like listening to the content. You like sharing the content. I'm speaking for you, so speak for me. So 1,000 subscribers is what I'm looking for. You saw the thumbnail, and the thumbnail says, the GOAT has returned. And I do mean the greatest quarterback of all time in the NFL, and I specifically say quarterback because I believe Lawrence Taylor is the best player of all time in the NFL, but I do digress. This is a GOAT conversation for quarterbacks presently right now, and Tom Brady, once retired for just 2 months, is coming back to the NFL for his 23rd season in the league at 44 years old and still on top of his game. Based on how he played last season, he's going back to the Buccaneers, and it adds to his stats. It adds to his legacy. Now, what part of his legacy is to be determined, because we do not know if he gets old overnight. We saw Peyton Manning do it. I don't think Tom is going to do it, but it's always a possibility. When you're that old, he could not sit still. That's what he said. He could not sit idle and not play the game of football, or to at least not look forward to playing the game of football. Not even for 2 months. He says his place is on the field, not in the stands as an observer, not in the stands as a retiree. He wants to come back to the NFL. He likes the competition. He likes his players. He likes his teammates. He just loves the game. And we're going to find out how much love is left in the tank when it comes down to the GOAT at the quarterback position in the NFL. So now, what does this mean for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They have Tom Brady for another year. That's the obvious. But it also means they don't have to go out and get a quarterback immediately, not in free agency at least, because they have their guy. And Deshaun Watson, who might have been an option before, you don't have to worry about that potential headache either. So now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can kind of live a little bit happily ever after for another season if Tom doesn't change his mind, which isn't likely. What else do we have in the grab bag right here? They have a run at another Super Bowl. Being in the NFC South, what do they have to worry about? There isn't any team in the NFC South that's going to prevent them from winning the division again. So it seems like right now on this day, clear sailing to a possible playoff position and Super Bowl run. Probably pretty much a breeze right through. It may seem like that at the moment. Things do have to work themselves out. But as it stands at this very moment, the NFC South is not a very competitive or good division in the NFL, and Tom Brady and his mates on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, both old and possibly new after the draft and free agency, will decide where this thing hangs. You know, and the beauty of this whole thing is Tom comes back and the Buccaneers can now draft a quarterback, not even early, somewhere reasonable, second, third round. And that quarterback will be able to sit for at least a season learning under Tom Brady. Now, how envious can you be if you're someone else who doesn't have that opportunity? So whatever quarterback the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can get in the draft and not have to worry about free agents right now, it's a plus for the team. It's a plus for that quarterback when they do come in here. And it's a win-win for everyone involved as long as Tom continues to play on that high level. So what does he really have left? We have to ask that question. He led the league in passing yards, 5,316 yards. He had 43 touchdowns against 12 interceptions. Can you tell me there's going to be a drop-off? I mean, if he dropped off almost half of that, he's still better than the majority of the quarterbacks in the NFL, particularly the Denver Broncos, who had just 22 passing touchdowns last season as a whole. So Tom Brady, if he comes back, has his pieces in place. We know Gronk is probably going to come back if Tom is coming back. We already know Mike Williams is going to be back. Mike Williams is the star of that team at the wide receiver spot. We know Leonard Fournette is still going to be there, catching out of the backfield, getting the tough yards. So the more things change, the more they stay the same in Tampa Bay. Now, with Tom Brady back for another season, looking to go on another run, what do you think about him coming back and deciding this is what he really wants to do when he could retire, live happily ever after? He has the wife, he has the kids, he has the money. This is all competitive nature. If you've ever wondered or thought about what a competitor is, this is the quintessential competitor. Someone who could still play, does not have to play, which I don't believe he had to do for years, but he has done it based on his competitive nature. And of course, you have to have a certain degree of ego to continue to perform at this higher level. You have to continue to tell yourself, regardless of age, you can still do this. Whether it's true or not, you'll find out on the field. The field will be your gauge of whether or not you're lying to yourself. But there are players that have been out there in the past who have lied to themselves, gotten beaten up, and they still lied to themselves until they realized that they needed to leave because CTE was right around the corner if it wasn't already in the residence. Nevertheless, Tom Brady's showing you the competitive spirit that he has. Yes, and the ego. But who's going to benefit? The Brady haters, the Brady lovers, and everything in between. Tom Brady, a great. Enjoy him while he's here. Because when these types of players leave and when they head into the sunset, it's all over. We saw it with Barry Sanders. We saw it with Peyton Manning with another team. We saw it with John Elway. We saw it with other quarterbacks in the NFL, other players as a whole in the NFL as they went into the sunset and the era left, the dawn of a new beginning, and you don't know what that beginning is. We've seen it all before in the NFL. So this is just another chapter in the Tom Brady record book, because that's what it is. It's a record book. The more he does, the more new records are created. Old records fall. And at this point, the old records are his records. And what about this little caveat? I know people probably thought about this already. He happens to make this announcement right before free agency, which starts on Monday, March 14th. That's no coincidence. He wants people to know that he's here so they could make their decisions based on his decision. And if they want to get on the legendary ride and possibly to another playoff and possibly to another Super Bowl appearance and possible Super Bowl win, you come along with old Tom. He'll have you by the hand and he'll guide you, take you on the Super Bowl tour, which he's done for years. So if you're that free agent looking for a team, and you didn't know where you were going, or there was some skepticism about what you wanted to do, you now have another opportunity to play with greatness. And who doesn't like that? Even the most egomaniacal player out there at the wide receiver spot or whatever wants to play with Tom Brady, even if it's just to say that they played with Tom Brady, not necessarily even having an enormous amount of success, but saying that you play with Tom Brady. Yeah, the success should come if you're that quality of player that the Buccaneers are going to want and Tom Brady is going to want to play with. So what do you think? And as you see, I've been doing this for a little bit now, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel. We'd be more than happy to have you around for future episodes. This is a sports channel. As you can see, I'm surrounded by all of these sports. It's a grab bag of sports. So check these videos out. They'll be here for you. You're here for me. I'm here for you. Until next time.